Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series for the 24th of September, 1983. Some interesting matches here this week, some returning talent, some new angles developing, and just all around good stuff. I like the end of 83. Probably really heating up, and by the end of the year, there's going to be totally some cool stuff. But one man gang of the Junkyard Dog, of course, gang managed by Skandor Akbar, kind of on loan from Gary Hart in World Class, if you kind of look at it that way. Dog manages to get splashed, and the dog kicks one man gang off pretty hard, and that is pretty impressive here. Nerve hold by the gang, and the dog fights back, fights up, and does not take a backward step. Dog sends gang, though, falling out of the corner, which pretty big deal. Dog also manages to get things going in his general direction with a chin lock there. Dog not opposed to fighting bigger guys. Of course, fighting Bundy a few weeks back and gaining some measure of revenge against Bundy. Big thump, though, by the dog, or actually clothesline there. Hasn't thumped him yet. But and then you see, dog using the ropes as an aid upon occasion. Sends a big gang into the top turnbuckle and then starts to, I wouldn't say choke him out, but certainly dog manages to do everything he possibly can to gain an advantage. Slower match than most would like, although when you're the size of the gang, you don't need to move at 115 miles an hour. Gang, though, goes to the outside, tries to get maybe a second rope splash, top rope splash kind of thing. Misses the top rope splash, though, does the gang, and the dog comes back up. Skandor Akbar choking the dog out in the meantime here. Akbar does that for a couple of minutes. Doesn't go very well for the dog. Meanwhile, Bundy runs in, double teams the dog. Akbar tries to interfere in that process, and the dog gets pretty aggressively treated. He eventually Darso had been hired apparently by Akbar to help, but he manages to turn on Akbar, and Darso manages to go after the one-man gang. So Darso a babyface at least for a minute here in the area. Then we move to a match between Boris Zukov and George Weingroff. Try saying those last names fast. Anyway, Zukov, pretty, you know, instrumental guy in the area at the time. Weingroff, kind of a, foreign enhancement talent type person, and a big hip toss by Weingroff, and again, hits the fireman's carry takeover, tries to get where he can, and we see the short cut off by Zurkov. Zurkov again with the backdrop suplex, gets where he wants to be there, and beats his man down, punches, kicks, chops to the throat, and the like. He hasn't been brought in to be completely squashed out yet, and meanwhile, though, his adversary in Weingroff manages to get a little bit of an advantage, including using a sunset flip, among other things. And from the second rope on the inside, we see the attempted knee drop by Zurkov doesn't get where he wants to get. Weingroff comes up, tries to nail him under the chin, and eventually Weingroff gets the victory. Victory with a roll up, 1, 2, 3, and a victory there. Nikolai Volkov attacks Boris Zukov, claiming he's not really from the Soviet Union. He is unhappy, and he wants to be the only Russian wrestler in the area from appearances purposes. And then we move to Bundy and the Missing Link versus Caldwell and Alberts, and this is more just I guess, a match I would say to establish the team of Bundy and Link. I don't know that they're going to be a full-time team. Doesn't seem that way. But at the same time, you never know what a promoter might have in mind. Link does the majority of the work, except when Bundy is needed. Link with some body slams, and there's tags between the enhancement talents. Again, Link tries to use the headbutt wherever he can. And Caldwell, especially, a really good enhancement talent who manages to fire the crowd up a little bit. Bundy does some duck and dodge with him when he tags in legally. Doesn't go very long for that as Bundy uses a bear hug among other aggressive, invasive maneuvers, and a big atomic drop by the Link leads to things going his way, and a diving headbutt first in the middle of the ring and then from the second rope, and Bundy and the Link get a victory there. We move to Crusher Darsaw basically saying that he betrayed Akbar because he can't be bought. He doesn't want to be bought off. He's not interested in any of that mess, and pretty well saying that Darsaw believes he is his own man, for lack of a better term. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who looks much better with a singlet covering his gut, against Ron Ellis here. Never really was. I mean, I enjoyed the Anvil in the Hart Foundation, but that's about the only time I really saw much in the Anvil, both live and in person. It just was never my deal. Anyway, hip toss by the Anvil, and he's grounding and pounding his opponent down pretty assertively, aggressively, and the like. Forearms and kind of using the power. Certainly can't take away that he is a power guy. Uh, Slams his opponent rather viciously in the middle of the ring and begging his opponent to get up. Use of power moves, including the Samoan drop that he used before, lead him to a victory. Hacksaw Jim Duggan against Hacksaw Butch Reed, the Battle of the Hacksaws here in Mid-South. Kind of a big deal there. Not a very long match because we still got two other segments to go through after this one. But, the North American champion Butch Reed giving I guess you'd say, a non-title shot to Duggan here. Duggan has been a mainstay in the area for a while, so the idea that he could defeat the champion, not so far-fetched. They do some collar and Ola tie-up stuff, and I believe DiBiase is out to watch Duggan. Duggan and DiBiase far from over in their feud. Anyway, power moves by Reed and Duggan both. Reed coming out a little bit ahead when it comes to the technical stuff. Duggan definitely coming out ahead when it comes to the brawling. So clash of styles there. Back elbow by Duggan, and Duggan sends Reed bailing out in a hurry. Actually, this is I was incorrect. The lumberjack match. Lumberjacks throw Reed back in. Reed gets thrown back in a couple of times, trying to run away from Duggan. Basically doing the chicken junk heel type stuff, and needless to say, Duggan is bouncing him around like a ping pong ball. Big back body drop gets him where he wants to be. That is, he being Duggan, of course. Short cut off by Reed. Reed not really wanting to give much quarter or giving or taking any, really. He's just kind of in there in a fight, brawling, using choking, kicking, and other illegal tactics when necessary. Reed having some difficulty in keeping Duggan down, but certainly knocking him down to give him things to overcome. Reed having a lot of difficulty, though, in keeping the man down, which is obviously part of defending your championship. Reed comes off the second rope with a flying tackle. Doesn't get what he wants from it, though. Duggan manages to go diving for his own version of the flying tackle out of nowhere. 1, 2, and 3. Duggan gets the victory. I don't believe this is for the championship, although I could be wrong. Meanwhile, we go to the next contest. Tom Stratton against Magnum TA, and TA finally starting to get what we would come to know as his singles push in this area. Stratton, a bigger guy, and certainly takes some shots at TA, but doesn't really get a lot going. TA with a hip toss. Amazing to me how many enhancement talents have trouble taking high hip tosses and the like. Drop kick under the chin, and TA brings the match with an armbar. He manages to hold that pretty well for a couple of minutes. TA not wanting to take a lot of losses or waste a lot of motion. Some cheating from the enhancement talent, and TA ducks, hits a crossbody across the middle of the chest, doesn't get everything he wants on it, and a cutoff by the enhancement, who goes to the second rope and kind of gets himself messed over there. TA, though, picks a win up in quick value, manages to kind of hit the come out of the corner, and after missing the second rope elbow drop, enhancement talent falls prey to the new belly to belly suplex. I wouldn't say it's that new, but newer. And then we see Day and Cruz versus Cormac and Rich in a mixed tag. Donna Day and Art Cruz, obviously with the ladies and gentlemen, so mixed tag action. Debbie Combs and Johnny Rich are the adversaries there. Ladies coming through town a couple of times a year. I'd say Combs kind of getting the advantage in the early stages there. Rich and Cruz managing to square off. Match really simple. Cruz kind of coming out ahead there. More the basic wrestling style and going for the hammer locks and the like. Ladies come back in and they are trading arm bars, arm shots, and the like. Nothing really major to write home about there. Combs still coming out ahead. Donna Day, not really a lady I know a bunch about. Goes back to the gentlemen and then back to the ladies. Kind of a back and forth match. Nothing really worth writing home about. Guys actually missing their spots. And we go right up to the end of the program with all of this. And you know, kind of the match breaks down into a four-way. Combs manages to slingshot her opponent across the ring and kind of gets a surfboard, ends up getting a victory for her team, and there you go. We're closing September. We'll be back with more right after this.